Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley here for ellenhudson.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am sharing 5 creative ways to use tag dies, and I'm featuring the brand new Tag Trio die set along with a couple of brand new stamp sets that coordinate with this Tag Trio, and these are going to be available from the Essentials by Ellen line on October 9th. So be sure that you stay tuned here and to the ellenhudson.com blog for more inspiration featuring these. Now, I'm going to combine all of these products today for all of my projects that I'm sharing. And what I've started by doing is taking the Made For You coordinating die set and cutting a whole bunch of blank white die cuts because I'm going to create several of these stamped and die cut images featuring the color palette that I'm going to be using today, which is some pinks and reds and different tones of greens. I absolutely love it. It's a very fun Christmas palette. It's got a little hint of traditional in there with the darker greens and the reds, but it's got a little bit of fun to it in that it's included some pinks and some bright, like really olivey greens. So when I die cut these images, I saved the negative space and I've backed the negative space with a little bit of purple tape, and I gently tapped my powder tool over the top of that purple tape just to decrease the tack just slightly. And now I am taking the plain white die cut images and I'm fitting them into the negative space on this die cut cardstock. Now I use the Neenah Solar White heavyweight cardstock for all of my white cardstock today. And once I have those die cut pieces of paper in there, I'm going to line up my stamps over the top, and then I can stamp a bunch of these in the same color all at once. So I decided instead of trying to color all of these images that I would just stamp them in fun colors. And I think sometimes we forget that we can just stamp them in funky colors and make them super cute too. We don't have to color everything. But if you are a fan of coloring, the great thing is these could easily be stamped in a Copic-friendly ink, and you could do some coloring on some of these images. Some of them are a little more solid, so that might be a little more challenging. But this does allow for you to kind of do some coloring if you choose as well. And as I mentioned before, this is the Made This For You stamp set and coordinating die set. So this is also a brand new stamp and die set from the Essentials by Ellen line that will release on October 9th. So I'm taking all of my colors, I'm cleaning between the different colors, and I'm stamping these. So once I stamp them in one color, I'm going to pop them out, put plain white die cuts in, and then restamp after cleaning my stamp again. So you can see I have a bunch of die cut images here ready to go. This is going to make the creation process a lot faster when I go to like put all these tags together. I'm going to have everything that I need and even more than what I need. But while I was doing that kind of mass production process, this didn't take long at all, and this set me up for, a quick crafting session. So now I'm taking the Tag Trio dies and I'm die cutting them with some Neenah Solar White cardstock. I used some Neenah Desert Storm cardstock as well as some Essentials by Ellen Oyster cardstock. And I die cut a bunch of tags. So once again, I have a bunch of stuff ready to go, ready to create, and now I can start putting together my tags. And I really wanted to show you some creative ways to use tag dies because I know that tag dies tend to be something that we have in our stash, and we can cut a plain tag and decorate it, and that is fun and adorable, and I absolutely love that. But sometimes we want to kick it up a little notch, and so that's what we're going to do today. So I have this largest tag here, and I'm going to stamp some images from the Warmest Wishes stamp set onto this tag. And the first tag that we're creating, or the first creative way to use these tag dies, is to create a tag shaped card. So you can see this tag, it's a really great size. It's nice and large. It fits on an A2 card really well, and I'm going to show you that later on. But I wanted to kind of decorate this before I create my tag-shaped card. Now I'm doing a little stamp surgery here. I am cutting apart this stamp. I've actually cut it into 3 pieces so that I could stamp all of these different portions of the stamp in different colors. Now you could absolutely mask this, but there's a lot of curves here, and I thought this would be just easiest to kind of snip apart, and that way I can really use it and create some multicolored stamping. Now I will show you in just a few minutes that I am able to still stamp this as it was originally intended. You can see I've actually put it together on my tag kind of like a puzzle piece and placed all those pieces back together so that I can have everything lined up perfectly. And then I'm going to remove that center piece, which is the word holiday, and I'm going to stamp that curved portion of the greeting and the little treat with the arrow in some Gina K Obsidian ink. And I'm just stamping that onto my card. You can see I have that little pink detail already stamped on my card as well. And with these stamps still in place, I'm going to nestle that word holiday back in because it fits together like a puzzle. And I'm going to take off these 2 images that I've already stamped in the black ink. And I'm going to ink this up in some poppy ink from Concord and Ninth and then stamp that right into the center of those previously stamped images. And that allows me to get a multicolored stamped image. And it was really easy to trim this apart. I was just careful to make sure that I trimmed the stamp and didn't go over the actual stamping lines. I went between the stamping lines. So I lined this up back on my Misty once again just to show you I can stamp this as it was originally intended, and now I have a little more versatility in my stamp because I've trimmed it apart. So that's definitely an option for you, although I know it is not for everyone. So now I'm taking some green tea ink and I have this little sprig here and I'm stamping it kind of over on the corner. I've repositioned it and I'm stamping it again. This just brings a little bit of green into this tag. Sometimes when I get too much pink or red, I really feel like I need to bring in the green, and so that's what I've done here. And now I am taking this too with the little dotted line, and I masked off part of my tag in order to stamp that line without it going all the way to the edge. So now that I have all of my stamping done, I am taking some of my pre-stamped and die-cut images and I'm placing them onto the front of the tag to finish decorating this. And now we're ready to create our tag-shaped card. So I have a second white tag die cut here, and I have it in my little scoring tool, and I'm using a stylus for this because I found it easier to kind of get in that groove and stay in that groove. And I am scoring the second tag just about a 1/2 inch down. You can see where it's lining up as far as those curves are. And then above that score line, I'm going to take some 1/8 inch Be Creative tape and just add some adhesive to the top of that. You could use some liquid glue here too if you prefer. Once I have my adhesive in place, I'm going to remove the backer and I'm going to line these 2 tags up and adhere them together. So they're going to be adhered just at the top. And because I created that score line on my back tag, I now have an opening tag-shaped card. So this is a great way to use this really large tag image, and it is a perfect size to hold a gift card too. So you could attach a gift card in there. I finished it off with a little bit of twine and a bow, and that is my first tag for the day. So my second tag idea is to create a shaker tag, and you can see I have my little gray die cut tags here. I am using one of the Essential Circle dies from the Essential by Ellen line to create a circle window in my tag. And then I'm going to use some of the images from the Warmest Wishes stamp set and the Made This For You stamp set to decorate this. So I've stamped that little kind of candy cane stripe along the bottom. Now I'm taking a piece of clear window plastic from the Essentials by Ellen line, and I've cut it down to size, and I'm attaching it to the back of this tag using a little bit of liquid adhesive. Now I'm going to grab my foam adhesive and I'm going to create a double layer of foam adhesive by kind of folding it over on itself with the 2 sticky sides together. And I'm going to trim down some smaller slivers and links of this double-sided foam adhesive in order to create the well for all of my shaker goodies that I'm going to put inside this shaker tag. And so I like to create a large kind of chunk of this double layer foam adhesive so I can cut it down into the sizes I need. And I'm going to place this on the back of my tag once again, and I'm just making sure that all of these pieces of foam adhesive kind of touch to create a well for all of these little goodies that I'm going to put inside of there because we don't want them to leak out. Now I have a second, this is the medium tag from the Tag Trio die set. I have a second one of these die cut using some white cardstock. I die cut all of these from the beginning. And I'm just taking a little bit of the Concord and Ninth Ballet Slipper ink and kind of blending it onto that plain white tag die cut. Then I'm going to take my little shaker goodies and fill the shaker well. So I have some embellishments from High Supply. I have some sparkling clear snowflake sequins from Pretty Pink Posh. And I have this beautiful snowy wonderland of sequins and sparkly things that I've put inside my shaker well. Now, in order to line these up, I actually took this over to my MISTI and I removed the mouse pad and I shoved this up into the corner, and that allowed me to take my second tag and shove it up into the corner and make sure that these were all aligned perfectly. Now, while I have it in my MISTI, and since there is so much dimension to this tag with that double layer of foam adhesive, I'm going to leave the mouse pad out. And I am going to take one of the curved sentiments from the Made This For You stamp set, and I'm actually recurving it to fit around this die cut circle because they don't match up perfectly because I used a little bit different size circle than what is intended for these curved sentiments. So I just recurved it to make it match the curve of my window, and I stamped that sentiment onto the front of my tag using some Catherine Pooler Twilight ink. So now that the base of my tag is created, I can take some of these pre-stamped and die-cut images and finish decorating my tag. And some of them I'm placing on using liquid adhesive. Some of them I'm placing on using foam adhesive. It just kind of all depends. And I'm going to finish off this tag with some of the clear droplets from the Essentials by Ellen line. I'm attaching those on using a little bit of glossy accents. And you can see I added some strawberry twine to the top of this tag as well. And that completes my second tag for today, featuring a little shaker tag here, perfect for the holiday season. So let's get started on the third tag idea. And this third tag idea features the smallest of the tags from the Tag Trio die set. And I'm just prepping the surface using a little powder tool and stamping one of these curved sentiments from the Made This For You stamp set right onto that craft colored tag. And I am adding some white embossing powder over that stamped image that I stamped with some Versamark ink. And then I am going to heat set that. Now, today's third creative use for tag die cuts is to create layered tags. And if you know me at all, layering tag die cuts is one of my favorite things to do. I love to do it on cards. I love to do it on regular tags. I like to just have these two layers that kind of flow loosely, kind of slide open and closed. So you get a little peek of some different colors and patterns coming out from the back of the tag. So I have a second tag die cut here. I am just going to decorate it with some more of these stamped images from the Warmest Wishes stamp set. I'm using the Concord and Ninth Honeysuckle ink. And by the way, I will have all of these ink colors linked over at the ellenhudson.com blog. It will be linked below in the description on YouTube. So if you're looking for something in particular and I don't mention what it is, check the description and head on over to the ellenhudson.com blog. I will have it all linked there for you. So you can see this was really easy. I just layered these two tag die cuts up and finished it off with some black twine, and I have my layered tag. Now, my fourth creative idea for using tag dies is to create a gift card holder tag, and that's what we're going to do with the two larger dies from the Tag Trio die set. So I've created a little ombre effect on the bottom of this white tag die cut using some Copic markers. And now I'm taking the Warmest Wishes sentiment from the Warmest Wishes stamp set. I'm stamping it over that ombre effect that I created using some Versamark ink. I've coated that with some white embossing powder, and now I am heat setting that. And now I'm taking this tag over to my trimmer, and I am not cutting all the way across this tag. I'm starting my cut just inside the edge of this tag and going over just to right before the other edge. So I'm creating a slit in this tag. If you're more comfortable, you can absolutely do this with a craft knife. But this trimmer is really great because it has an arrow on the blade that shows me where my cut is going to start. So I'm able to create the perfect size slit for this gift card. Now I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to add some strong adhesive around the edges. And I'm doing this with the gift card in place so that I don't put adhesive anywhere that would hinder the movement of my gift card. So I'm putting it along the bottom edge and the two side edges. And then that area at the top, I can go ahead and coat with some adhesive as well. Now, before I layer this on top of this larger tag die cut, which I have die cut from some Neenah Desert Storm cardstock, and I'm stamping some more of this striped stamp because I absolutely love it. Using the Concord and Ninth Evergreen ink. And I was able to line those striped patterns up using my clear acrylic block just fine. Sometimes when I do that, they don't overlap perfectly, but I'm totally happy with the results of that. And I'm going to add a little bit of gold glitter cardstock. And then I've removed the backer from that strong double-sided adhesive that I placed on that upper tag. And I've positioned that onto the tag and I'm going to press that down. And I finished it off with one of the die cut images from the Made This For You stamp and coordinating die set. Now, I have the mitten and the hat here, but I actually went back and changed it out to the little coffee cup. It's so adorable. Now, my fifth and final creative use for using tag die cuts is to create a tag and place it on the front of a regular size card. So sometimes we think that tags can only be used for putting on top of packages, but they make adorable layers for the tops of cards as well. So I have the largest tag die cut from the Tag Trio die set, and I'm adding some strips of cardstock to this to add a colorful striped pattern along the bottom of this tag. I am using cardstock from Concord and Ninth. This is the Ballet Slipper, Honeysuckle, Poppy, and Evergreen colored cardstocks from Concord and Ninth. And I also have a little strip of gold glitter cardstock to add in there as well. And once I complete this, I am going to flip it over and trim off the excess. You kind of have to be careful around the curved edge of that die, but you can absolutely do it with scissors, I promise. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it into my mini Misty. I'm going to prep the surface with a powder tool and I'm going to stamp this Season's Greetings sentiment. This is from the Warmest Wishes stamp set. I'm stamping that in some Versamark ink and I'm going to do some white heat embossing over the top of these colorful stripes. And this gives a really cool effect. So once I've added my white embossing powder over the top, you can see I'm kind of being careful not to let it get on the glitter cardstock because I was worried the glitter would kind of grab it and then I would have kind of this messed up area. I've gone ahead and heat set that. And now I'm taking one of the pattern stamps from the Warmest Wishes stamp set and I am stamping that pattern in some coordinating Concord and Ninth die inks onto my card base. Now this card is an A2 size card. The cardstock is cut to 4 1/4 by 11 inches and then scored at 5.5 inches. And I created this using some Essentials by Ellen linen cardstock. I absolutely love the Essentials by Ellen linen cardstock. You can see I am just kind of nudging my cardstock up and stamping this in the different colors. And when I put my tag over the top, I didn't like how this pattern was only coming out of one side of the tag. So I am just creatively placing this back into my mini Misty. You can see my card base is actually hanging out of the side, but that's okay. I can still stamp just fine. And you can see that these patterns are not perfectly lined up either, but my tag that I'm going to place over the top of this is going to camouflage that just a little bit. So I'm not worried too much about those lining up perfectly. I'm going to place my tag over the top onto this card base using some foam adhesive. And then I finished my tag off using some of those pre-stamped and die cut images from the Made This For You stamp set. And you can see I have the little sprigs on this tag as well. There is no die for those. Those come from the Warmest Wishes stamp set. And so what I did was I just fussy cut those out. And I finished off my tag with a little bit of that strawberry twine. So here's a look at my 5 completed tag projects, 5 creative ways to use tag dies. A little tag shaped card here. We have a shaker tag, a gift card holder tag, some layered tags, and then of course our card with a tag on it. So I hope you enjoyed these projects today. I hope you are inspired to create with your tag dies, and I hope that you are inspired to check out the brand new Essentials by Ellen release that is hitting the shop on October 9th, 2020. These products will be a part of that release, and I think you're going to want to snag them for your stash so that you have them for all of your holiday tag projects this year. As always, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed these projects. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the ellenhudson.com YouTube channel here so that you won't miss any of our paper crafting and card making video tutorials. I'm so glad that you stopped by and hung out with me today. Remember, as always, I will have links to the featured products used in these projects in the description at YouTube. But for a complete list of supplies, more still shots, and more information, be sure you visit the ellenhudson.com blog post. I will have that linked below as well. Over there, you'll find more still shots, more information, a complete list of supplies, as well as the Copic colors that I use to create that ombre effect on the bottom of my gift card holder tag. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.